Many of us get married with false expectations about what it means to be a wife and what our husbands are supposed to do in a marriage. The problem with expectations is that they often lead to hurt, pain, and disappointment. Here's the thing we don't consider about our expectations. One, we never take time to think about, are they realistic? The second thing we don't consider is, have we fully expressed and articulated the expectation to our spouse? And then most importantly, we don't consider the fact that we have an expectation that perhaps our spouse does not have the capacity, mentally or emotionally, to execute. So then what do you do? What do you do when your spouse isn't equipped to meet that expectation? Here's what you need to know. An expectation creates demand. And so anytime a man feels like you are demanding something of him, it will immediately begin to create distance and resentment. That is because a man's highest need is respect. And when you begin to communicate expectations and you're saying, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen, or I'm going to withdraw. For most men, their only natural way to respond to that demand is to resist. And so now we're going to create distance in the marriage. I want you to learn how to communicate your emotional need instead of your expectation. Because here's the thing, I want you to learn how to create your emotional need instead of an expectation. Our needs is really what it is we're trying to get met with everything that we're asking our spouse to do. Everything we desire from our spouse, from something as simple as picking up his socks off the floor, to helping to clean around the house, to helping out with the children, is our desire to get a need met. And when you understand these emotional needs, you can begin to communicate more effectively by sharing what it is you deeply need instead of staying on what I call the surface level and arguing about the little things that's happening because the need is not getting met. Here's how you can begin to shift your communication style from demanding expectations to communicating your needs, which creates connection and affection. So think about it this way. Perhaps you have an expectation that if you're a Christian, maybe you got married and you and your spouse were both committed Christians. And so you had this expectation that as your husband, now he would do more things like lead in prayer and be the one to initiate you guys going to church. So instead of communicating that, you just get upset and frustrated because you don't see him doing it. And then when you do communicate it, you communicate it from like hurt and disappointment. So there's that expectation again, that demand. I don't understand why I'm always the one who has to tell us to pray, or especially if you have children, I don't understand why you don't take time to read the Bible to the children. That will cause a man to feel like insignificant and insecure. So he will pull back. But if you were to explain it from your need instead of your expectation, it would sound more like this. Hey, babe, I would love it if you was to initiate going to church more or reading scripture to the kids, simply because it would make me feel so much safer, or make me feel like this is something that is important to you as it is to me. Now, when you communicate that level of emotional needs, that's an invitation. So if you're married to a man who really loves you and values the relationship, when he hears his wife say, this will make me feel safe, this will make me feel important, this will show me how important this is to you, the average man, the one who's loving and caring, would want to provide that need for his wife. But when that need is expressed through expectation and demand, his defense mechanism will automatically rise up. And so he will want to defend himself. But most men, a man who's loving and caring, who really wants to provide for his wife, be that emotional support, but maybe don't understand the importance of or how important it makes you feel when he does something like pray with you or lead the kids in scripture. If he hasn't registered that this is a thing that is providing her emotional need of safety and certainty, he may just think this is just something we do. But when he hears you say, wow, this would really make me feel important, this will really show me how significant we are to you, or this would make me feel so safe if you did these things, I promise you, he will begin to contemplate just how he could fulfill this need. But women, wives, I want you to offer grace, because maybe the thing you're asking him to do, whether it's pray with your family or lead the finances or even help clean up around the house, if there's a part of him that maybe doesn't know how to do it, there's that expectation again, the expectation where you're an adult, you should know how to do these things. Just because a person is a certain age doesn't mean that they was taught how to handle certain things in life. We're all sometimes trying to figure this out. We have to consider their background. And here's another thing you have to consider. Just because they don't do it the exact way you would do it doesn't mean it's not done well. So let's make sure that we are communicating realistic expectations. And not only are we communicating the expectation, but we are doing it not from a demand, but from an invitation by using our voices to communicate our emotional needs. And here's what you should know is that we all have these emotional needs, 6 basic emotional needs that are always driving us, that we're always trying to get met. And so I promise you, everything that you're trying to get your spouse to do is attached to one of those needs. So you have the need to feel significant or important. You have the need to feel safe and certainty. You have a need for variety. That means a little bit of surprise here and there. And you have a deep need for loving connection. So when I say the 6 needs, those are the 4 that can be influenced with people outside of yourself. But the other 2 are things that will only happen between you and God. So the need to grow is the other one, and then the need to contribute, to give back. But oftentimes with our spouse, what we're trying to get met are one of the top 4: to feel important, to feel safe, a little bit of variety, or for some of us, lots of variety, and the need to feel loving connection. So I want you to start thinking about, how is that showing up for you? How is it that when you're expressing yourself through these expectations, what need are you trying to get met? What is it that you really want? What connection or safety, or is it the need for significance? When I began to learn this and practice this with my husband, our entire relationship shifted for the better because our communication began to change. So instead of saying to my husband, we never spend time, or I expect you to make time for me, I said to him one day, hey babe, I don't feel significant to you. And he goes, why would you not feel significant? I'm like, because you're busy with all these things and you haven't made time for us. There was no argument there. There was a question, a curiosity to say, what do I have to do to make you feel important? Because you are extremely important to me. This is what I mean when I talk about learning to shift the conversation from expectations to speaking about what it is you need. But now, here's the warning. Here's the thing you have to understand. Earlier, I said that there are some men or some people who does not have the capacity to give you the thing that you need. That is not because they don't like you. That is not because they don't care. That is not because they don't love you. It's simply because maybe they don't have the capacity. And so you have to either decide, is this so important that it's a game changer and it's enough to end the relationship? Or can I give them grace because maybe they don't currently have the capacity, but they're willing to learn how to communicate more effectively, how to move in that space of being the head of the household or whatever that thing is you're requiring. Or maybe you may need to reconsider, are you requiring something that's realistic? So I just want you to start thinking about, does my spouse have the capacity to manage the finances? Are they equipped to communicate their emotions? Have they developed the skill of effective communication? Because if they don't know how to do it and you keep beating them up for not doing it, of course this is going to ruin the marriage. But what I want you to consider is, do we love one another enough to grow together in this area that maybe they don't have a capacity in, or maybe even I don't have a capacity in? And if you're willing to work together to do that and you need help with that, I would love for you to reach out to me. I have an amazing program called Think Your Way to a Better Marriage. And this program equips you with the emotional intelligence you need to build a loving, thriving marriage. It has helped for so many other marriages, and I know it will help you with yours. So I would love to work with you. Listen, book a free call right now. Don't wait. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about, I don't know if it'll work for me. Just book a call and let's talk about it. Hey, it's free. Why not? I want to say thank you so much for watching, and do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to these videos.